University, Dermot Cummins of West Waterford, Adrian Holiday of Tipton, Joe Christopher of Horwich, Matthew Jackson of Liverpool, Andrew Agnew of Andale, Kevin Seaward of Cardiff, Sebastian Duffy, who I did mention in that C race earlier, he's obviously been moved up to the B race, of City of Stoke, Steve Heppels of Newham and Essex Beagles, Craig Ruddy of Inderclyde, Ed Shepherd of Woodford Green, Andrew Ridley of Colchester, James Douglas of Border, Alan Buckley of Leeds and Ben Russell of Liverpool Harriers. So Lewis Timmis straight to the front, and he's closely followed by our early leader is Alex Hendry of Central. Alex has a personal best from last year of 14.26. So quickest on paper, I'm just having a quick scour through. We've got Stephen Heppels who's ran 13.54, but I'd hesitant to say he's probably not in that shape anymore. That was more in his younger years, but still a very quality athlete. But most of the athletes at the moment all ranging from around about 14.20 right up to high 14.40s. So around about a winning time of 14.10, 14.20 is probably what we're going to be looking for this last race of the evening. So Lewis Timmins, Morpeth Harrier, quality athlete himself. I know he boasts a personal best of close to around about 14 minutes. Good to see him helping out with the pacemaking duties. Paolo Natali, the Italian athlete, a very, very well-known name on the British scene. He's up there. Adrian Holiday, Tipton Harrier, Henry Pierce, Will Gray, Bucks steeplechase champion. He's potentially going to be in for looking for a personal best this evening. He's in good form. Interesting to see how Matthew Jackson gets on in this. The Liverpool Harrier Birmingham University students. He ran 3:48 at Solihull, and that's traditionally what he's been known for is his 1500 metres. He's got a personal best of 14:51 for the 5000 metres, and I think if he's any form of decent distance shape, he will absolutely smash that. We go through 800 metres in 2:18, so Lewis Timmis doing a fantastic job early on of settling the nerves, getting these athletes into a good rhythm of running that 69-second lapping.
This sort of pace we'll give us sub 14:30, that's the target.
So we're going to come out to the first kilometre to get a gauge of what we're currently looking at, but the field pretty much all in single file at the moment. 2:53 at a kilometre, so maybe he's drifted off slightly there. So Lewis Timmis responds, has a slight little increase in pace, nothing too drastic, because as you're aware, these guys have still got just under 10 laps to run, so there's no need for any short, sharp bursts. Just a gradual increase in pace will get them back on schedule for those 68, 69s, what they were looking for. And we can see there Timmins has responded. He realised that the pace had dipped slightly, and he's bringing these athletes back on track for that target. And at the moment, he still is the central athlete, Alexandra Henry, who currently leads. He's an under 23, personal best of 14.26, but at the moment, he's operating in around about 14.10, 14.15 range. It was interesting quiet there with the women's race. Amelia Greca, we didn't see anything of her in those early kilometres. She was I wouldn't say at the back, certainly mid-pack, but she came through. So I'm looking at some of the athletes who are mid-pack at the moment. We've got James Douglas, who's been on great form on the roads. Kevin Seaward, the Irish athlete, exceptional road runner, looking to get back to some of his best track form. Adrian Holiday, you never rule him out. Tipton Harrier, experienced campaigner on the BMC scene. I think I'm just double check on terms of Adrian Holiday's personal best. He's ran 14.28, which was last season, so he'll be looking to maybe potentially replicate at least that this evening, if not get closer to that 14.20 mark. It's good to see a huge number of athletes out here committed, going for the pace. I know it's still early on, but there's a whole slew of athletes who are following this great pacemaking being done by Lewis Timmins. Morpeth Harry has come down with some of his training partners. He's going to get a little workout himself this evening, getting the pacemaking duties spot on so far. Adrian Holiday it is who's moving up into 3rd place at the moment. Douglas Salmon, South Coast Scottish athlete. I've seen him many a times in the British Mars Club events. He's got a personal best of 14:45 and he's season's best of 14:47, but currently he's operating well in advance of that, so he could look to get down into the 14:30s if he continues this impressive running. But what we describe as the lead group has got at least, I'd potentially say, just over, maybe around about 20 guys still in there. Those at the back slightly getting a bit detached. Veteran runner Alan Buckley, he's got a personal best of 14:05, a season's best of 15:20, but he's running well inside 15 minutes pace. Those guys at the front are operating around about 14:20 at the moment. So Alan Buckley, again, another example of an athlete proving that age is no number, getting stuck in, the Leeds City athlete. You know how good Leeds are when it comes to the cross-country and 12-stage athletes, so it's good to see that they've got this sort of depth, they can draw on that sort of experience of a committed athlete who, despite his years, is still determined to come out and run hard. I can see Dan Woodgate now moving up on the inside. They're slightly bunching a little bit behind Timmins now as they look to move through. They've got 7 laps to go. And it is Woodgate. He looks to be a little bit thinking, yeah, I want to move this on now. I'm feeling good. I want a closer position at the front. He had a great run in the B race at Solihull last time. He was inside 14:30, so he wants to keep this pace pushing, see if he can get himself under 14:20. And now he moves into leading the race. It's Dan Woodgate, the Luton athlete. He's based at the St Mary's University, so we've already talked. It's been a great night for St Mary's down there. We've seen John McDonald in the A 5,000 metres get the European under-23 time, and now Dan Woodgate is literally forcing the pacemaker off the track because he was like, right, I've had enough, I'm off, I'm going for it now. And it's Dan Woodgate now who is going to be leading the guys through. Natali is still in 3rd, Salmon is in 4th, Adrian Holiday is in 5th. Just trying to pick out a few of the other names as well. Just bear with me a second. Jack Martin, so he's seen his brother Pat in the A race. I think Pat would have slightly been disappointed with this performance. Can Jack see what he can do in the B race? 6 laps to go now.
Then W. Selman, and then we see Andy Ridley from Colchester for the first time.
Andy Ridley of Colchester's just got a little shout out from the main announcer commentator because he's coming into contention. But we talked about still up in this lead group. I can see Will Gray in there, so if it's still close together with the late on, he's definitely got some good closing speed, so we'd look to see that put into full effect. James Douglas has talked about in that fluorescent orange border vest. He's been running extremely well on the roads, but also looking to get that personal best for the 5,000 metre down on the track. Kevin Saywood and Matt James it is who just completes the tail end of that lead group. But it's Woodgate who's pushing it on at the pace now. He's still got the central athlete of Alexandra Henry perched up on his shoulder. Henry's been there from the start. He was the one tucked in behind Timmins, and he's looking to get into the action now. But Douglas Salmon still there. Will Gray showing his face now. Jack Nixon's in there. Adrian Holiday's on the very inside. I'm just looking for a few other names out there that I'm not just currently missing. I can see the Norwich athlete Tom Hook. Tom Hook is running an exceptional run here. As we talked about at the moment, these guys are operating around about 14:30. If he can wind it up at all, is the European Junior time in for a shout for him, which would be another huge success of this evening. After the achievements of Michael Caligari, we saw James McMurray earlier on getting another 1500 metre qualifier. Sean Wiles, we saw Richard Charles run the 800 metre European qualifying time. We've seen the women's race there, the A 5,000 metres. We had European, World Youth and European Under-23 Championship qualifiers. It's been a great evening of athletics, and Dan Woodgate and Alexandra Henry are doing their part to make sure that this B race has been pulled along at a great pace. And it is Henry who's back in the front now. And he's quickly overtaken, as Paolo Natali comes up on his shoulder, but now our current leader Number 325 is Andrew Agnew of Andale, who has a personal best of 14.25. So he sensed that maybe the pace is dripping slightly, and he's getting back on it. And now we have a lead group that's roughly around about to 10 athletes, with Kevin Saywood just at the back of that at the back of that group, looking to hang on, and Dan Woodgate now, he's at the back of that group. So how quickly things have changed for him over the last couple of laps. Will Gray is moving up into third. I can see Jack Nixon, the Stockport vest, he's up into fourth. But it's Agnew who's currently pushing the pace. Agnew, who's run 14:13.5 himself. So they are getting closely back to around about 14:30 schedule. I did mention Tom Hook potentially maybe for a shout for the European Junior title. I don't think that's going to be possible, but for a guy who's got a personal best of 14:50, he's going to do some major revision for that. Another one of the athletes coached from the Pauline and Tim Ash stable down at the City in Norwich. He's got Ed Shepherd with him and James Douglas, both having fantastic runs. So with 3 laps to go, we've got Agnew, we've got Natali, we've got Will Gray, we've got Kevin Saywood, we've got Dougie Salmon, we've got Jack Nixon, all still in mid-contention. John Eves, another Bedford athlete. It's been a good evening for Bedford guys out there. We've seen Jack Goodwin run well in the A race. Can he have support from in the B race? So the lead group, they're slowly whittling them down. Kevin Saywood is working very hard to stay on that back group, but he's just behind Dougie Salmon, who I said has a personal best of 14:47, and he looks as though he's going to destroy that. We hit 4K in under 11:40, which is around about 14:30. So some of these guys are going to be close to their personal best, and some definitely with new personal best, as we look to close this evening with a bang. Kevin Saywood, who we were saying, who's operating at the back of that group, he has a personal best of 14:35, so that could be revision. Andrew Agnew leads from Will Gray, from Jack Nixon, from Andrew Henry, from Paolo Natali, from Bedford, from Kev Saywood, Adrian Holiday, Doug Salmon working very hard to stay on that group. And Hook, he says, who's leading the chase pack, he's got James Douglas with him. Dan Woodgate looks to be struggling a little bit after that early exuberance around about the 2 kilometre mark, but he's still running strong. Matt Janes goes through. It's opening up at the front, and Agnew's forcing away, but Jack Nixon is looking... Jack Martin, even, apology, calling him Jack Nixon. Don't know who Jack Nixon is. He's not Jack Nixon, he's Jack Martin. It's Will Gray who's in third. Alex Hendry just got his head down, and he is sticking with this pace. He's just following that vest in front of him, but at the moment we're down to 4 athletes with around about 500 metres to go. It looks as though it's going to be a very close burn up over this last few stages. Who's going to have the wheels to finish? Nixon's looking good, Hendry's looking good, Will Gray, Kevin Saywood's moving through on the inside. He's going to go past Natali. Who's going to have it? And here goes, and Henry's the first one to crack. Will Gray goes with him. 13:22 at the bell, so we definitely should get under 14:30 here. We're definitely going to get under. I'm saying it. We're going to get under 14:30. Will Gray, he's currently tucked in third. Jack Nixon is in fourth, and then Hendry goes again, but Agnew's not letting him take it off. There, he's holding him off. Will Gray's moving through. He's going to potentially going to be a good shot. Will Gray looks full of running now. With over 200 metres to go, Gray takes the lead. Gray is off. What a kick by Gray. Hopefully he's not gone too soon, but this is exceptional closing speed. He's going to smash under 14:30. Good kick here. Agnew still holding on to second. Henry in third. Nixon in fourth. Kev Saywood challenging for fifth. Adrian Holiday back in sixth, Natali in seventh, but Will Gray kicks hard, kicks very strong, full of running, the Birmingham University student. He's going to take victory, he's going to smash his lifetime best, close to around about 62 last lap, 63 last lap. Agnew maybe personal best. Whole host of guys. Saywood definitely under 14:30, that'll be new lifetime best with him. Tom Hook definitely around about 14:35, so he's had a huge run there. Alan Buckley around about 14:45, so great run from the veteran there. Woodgate coming through, Matt Janes coming through. just about catching my breath, but a fantastic closing speed there from Will Gray to top off what has been a fantastic evening in athletics. He's going to take victory in the final race of the evening as we're just closing out these remaining few competitors in the 5,000 metre B race. Matt Jackson, I did point out potentially he looks as though he's maybe struggled a little bit there. Sebastian Duffy, he was moved up, and unfortunately it's been a bit of a struggle for him in the B race there. Carl Billington, the Blackpool athlete, he's coming through. And Henry Pierce, these guys all in around about 15:20. Henry Pierce is going to close the field in around about 15:35. That about does it. We're going to close the live stream for this Athletico's broadcast.